So I want to say good morning, but it's not morning. It is 12:30. It's the middle of the day. And Saturday's a work day for me, so I have quite a few tarot readings to do today. And I have a lot of other things that I want to do. I'm in the middle of writing a blog that I really want to finish, that I've been itching to get to all week. I have more Laurel Loop videos to edit. So I'm not just gonna get into my list of busyness and flaunt busyness, and I know we all have things that we want to get to, but I just want to stress that the incentive to push through on my work and all that I have to do is very strong. And instead of rushing through that, I'm going to pause my productivity and I'm going to do my morning routine in the middle of the day. To give you a little overview of my morning, I woke up late-ish because I always like to sleep 8 hours and watched some TV with my boyfriend last night. We watched a movie as I wrote my blog, and it's Friday night. I can go to bed late if I want. So went to sleep around 1, woke up around 9:30, and I made my coffee. I sat down to do my morning routine, but then I had a flash. I want to call my dad and talk to him about something. So I talked to him about that thing, and then I was like, I feel like I need to take a shower before my morning routine. So I did that. All this to say that it's so easy to get caught up in the endless humming busyness of our world. And I want you to track the evolution of my energy with me as I go through this routine. So the only thing that I've done of my morning routine is I watched my Laurel Loop video, which is a daily message from spirit guides that I record the month before for every specific date. So this one was planned for exactly this date in history, and I like to watch that right away. It just gives me a reframe on whatever I might be thinking. And today's message was about trying something with an open mind, even if I've done it again. And I've tried to share with you guys a lot how fundamental my morning or daily routine, as it so is right now, is to my success in building this business, to my alignment, to my change in habits, whether it's consumption or relating or just lifestyle. So I credit everything to those daily practices, and I am about to do them. So I'm not going to get into the point by point. I've mentioned many times that there's 6 components to the routine. There is invite in divine guidance. There is express. There is circulate, align, center, and receive. And there's various practices for each of those categories, and they're outlined on the course page, which you can find in my link in bio. But I more want to tune into the energetic. So right now I'm hyper. I don't know if you can tell. I'm like it's not that I'm not excited to start my day. I'm itching to get to all these things. I want to do my routine. It's not that I don't, but I'm itching to get to stuff. And that's great. I'm super grateful that I look forward to the things ahead of me. But I can also feel that my energy is a little frenetic, and I feel like a little crackle in me. Like my pace is quick, my heart rate is fast. So I'm not really connected to source. My intuition could be confused with being reactive. I don't feel that powerful infusion of inspiration and God connection that I require right before I do a tarot reading. So I am going to carve out a chunk of these really productive hours to do these practices, and I'm going to invite you to join me along and see how that progresses. So right now I'm going to turn you guys off and do my prayer. And that's the invite portion. And then I'm going to analyze the dreams that I still remember because I didn't do them right when I woke up, but I still have some imagery that I do recall that I want to work through. So we'll see how long that takes me. I might continue and take that into morning pages. If you're interested in trying my dream interpretation technique from Voice Dialogue, it's amazing and it's free in my bio link. And then I'm going to see what I do for my Align practices, and then I'll be doing meditation, blah, blah, blah. So I'll be back. Okay, so I've just finished I did invite the prayer, and when I do the prayer, I really focus on what I'm saying, and I actually shift my energy, like I hand over the steering wheel, so to speak, to the part of me that's spiritually connected and guided. And as I'm saying each of those words of that prayer, I'm imagining the shift in where my power and direction comes from. Go on, keep going. Go on. So that is her daily routine, and normally she stays with me for the full morning routine, but because I'm doing it so late, she's like, okay, this is the time where I go upstairs, so you're gonna have to do your morning routine on your own. Okay, so I'm done the express portion. It was really interesting what came through my dreams. So it's already given me perspective on the different parts of me that are not always on the same page, but that find a way to mediate between each other. So we all have different voices. We are heterogeneous, and each of those voices deserve expression. That's why it's so powerful that in the express portion, we look at what is in our unconscious. Like, our unconscious is not homogeneous. So it doesn't mean that just because we're identified with one perspective on what's happening, there's often other parts of us that feel differently, and they need to be voiced as well so that we can be integrated. If you're wondering what that is, my boyfriend is mining Bitcoin in our living room. Okay, I'm going to do circulate. Okay, so I am just sitting back down after dancing me arse off in the kitchen. As you can see, there's blood in my face. I had to get changed because I was getting too sweaty. And I dance in the kitchen because, one, I live in a loft with my boyfriend and I'm slightly embarrassed dancing that ape shit in front of him, especially while he's working seriously at his desk or doing a meeting. He got me these wireless headphones so that I can blast music in my own little bubble. And I also go in the kitchen because we live in a very old industrial building and the reverberations are felt through the floor. So it's probably like the only place with a platform that I can have a little more bounce. It's not ideal. It's not ideal for dancing. I would love to manifest. I'm working on manifesting a space where I can go boogie and do freestyle movement like you saw me do when I was traveling. So I just put on 2 or 3 of my favorite songs. In the chorus, there's lots of different things you can do for circulate. I show you there's a guided breathwork video that walks you through a really simple but effective routine to get your blood pumping. So I mentioned different alternatives, but dancing is a great one. And I just feel like the emotions that were channeled through the expression now have had a chance to move through my body. So I'm pumped, but not nervous energy wired the way I was at the beginning. And that a psychic once told me that we get our monkey brain out of the way with exercise. So by having my blood flow clearing out any kind of anxious thinking, my intuition is going to be on point for this next portion. So I'm in the align portion. Now, I created the Laurel Loop so that people could have their daily message from my spirit guides through those videos. So that is one way you can do align. I love a lot of alignment. I like getting a lot of, guidance. And today that is going to be pulling a card. Look at this beautiful box. It has like a sleeve, and then my neighbor gave me this for Christmas, and then you have a little string to pull out the box, and then you have a little string to pull out the cards. So it's awesome. Actually, last time I picked one of these cards, it was the rabbit, and I had so many funny rabbit stories that day. It was on the Zach Bush podcast I was listening to. Anyway, it's a really cute deck. So for align, I'm going to pull a card for the day and read the message, and then I'm going to move into meditation. Okay, so I pulled the Otter card, which is unobstructed joy, playfulness, and contentment. And when I pulled it, I kind of smiled because when I was younger, we used to try to find what animals people looked like, and the only one we could kind of think of for me was an otter. And so it's the first time I pulled it, and it aligns nicely with the Laurel Loop message for today, which is about not letting the history and past storylines dictate what you think the perceived outcome of things are going to be. So in this case, the last note of that message was start something again for the first time. Like if it ended up a certain way in the past, don't assume that that's the outcome you're going to get again. So try it again with an open mind. I'm kind of butchering the message because the original message is guided from my spirit guides, and so it's super eloquent, and this is just Natalie talking. But what's really fun is at the end, the card says to bring into balance, and what it suggests is a dance party or celebration, which I literally just did in the kitchen. So already there's these nice loops happening in my routine where I feel like I'm getting confirmation from my guides and from spirit that the choices I'm making are in alignment. And it's like as soon as I committed to this routine, things are already starting to feel like they're falling into place rather than my life seeming kind of like chaotic or directionless. So I'm feeling reinforced, and I've been given a carte blanche to approach the day with pleasure and joy and the playfulness of a child, without the presence of doubt, worry, or skepticism, which is exactly what my Laurel Loop message is about. So I'm feeling like my guides are communicating to me clearly. It's building my faith muscle, and now I'm going to go into the most important part, which is meditation. So I just finished the meditation. It was really nice. I'm not going to pretend that I have a perfectly quiet mind while I'm doing it. It's the consistent act of observing our thinking mind, accepting it as it is, and letting go. That's the dance. It's the showing up and holding the space and attention. So it's not a results-driven process, but there is a result in that I do feel centered. I feel a certain kind of discipline possible in me, as though my mind and my attention can be guided somewhere beautiful, inspired, and strong. In my course, you'll know that the center and the receive portion are connected because the end of the meditation is geared towards putting yourself in receiving mode. So I guide you through getting a message from your spirit guides directly and asking for guidance throughout the day from source as you define it. And even that is part of the course. At the beginning of the course, we start by helping you define the course helps at allowing you to define what source or divine energy is to you. It helps you name that so that you can move forward in co-creating your own prayer. And so basically from the course, what you can expect is hand-holding through building the structure, accountability tools week by week. There are checklists, there are PDFs for each stage of the process where you add a tool or practice every single week. There's a guided meditation. There's a guided alignment audio visualization that's really powerful. I always get really major results from doing that, real instant shift. There's a guided breath work, like I mentioned. And there's a lot of videos where I talk about my own stories and tools and tips and things that have worked for me. I'm not a disciplined, motivated person. I'm not a willpower person. I find ways to make things automatic and pleasurable so that I almost naturally and really voluntarily want to go back to them. So I'm still alert, I'm still awake, I'm still energized, I'm still eager to get to my day, but I feel very much aligned and rooted, but also more elevated than I did before. And it was absolutely worth this investment of time. If you are thinking of working with me for a tarot reading or North Node or self-healing consult, I just can't recommend strongly enough that you start with this course. I do work with clients one-on-one and help them through implementing their own morning routine and self-healing practices, but so one of them doesn't exclude the other, but a session or a reading, it lasts for a certain amount of time. There's a high after, there's insights, there's implementation, but then new cycles will always come up and we're always going to be at a different phase in our growth. And if you have these daily practices in place, you never stop evolving, connecting inward, aligning yourself with source, and you're consistently supported every day. And you reprogram, you realign. At any time. It's like within your power. Like you don't have to outsource that to somebody to help you feel connected and in the right place. You can do that. It's within your grasp to know you're coming from the best of your energy. So while these practices might seem self-explanatory and you can try and do them on your own, I know that the course structure really helps. I know it's even helped me just to know those categories and know what practices are available for each one. It allows it to be a little bit less of going back to the drawing board every time, and there's these systems and tips in place that really make it doable and sustainable, because otherwise, what's the point? So thank you for going through this morning routine with me. I felt called to just show you the kind of progression of energy from the beginning to the end, and it's my wish that you would participate and invest yourself in a similar routine. Try my course. There's a payment plan available now, so it's really accessible to all, and I pretty much can guarantee you that you'll see the results. Otherwise, your money back. All right, be well.